Hello everyone and welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you will enjoy the video. So I have never used one of these hanging file folders to make anything with. I've seen a lot of other people do it, so I thought we would give this a try. And I am going to be using my vintage birds and flowers kit to make this. I haven't made anything out of these papers yet, so I'm excited to do that. So the first thing that we're going to do is trim off these ends with these metal hanging things in there. And I've already taken another folder and I've done that. Okay. And I didn't want to lose any of the extra pieces, so I have scored. Let me back up and not get ahead of myself. I typically make my journals 9 inches tall by 6 inches wide. So I measured out from the center, and so you have a total width of about 12 inches. And the total length is about 11 and a half, maybe a little bit more than that. So I scored all the way down the sides after marking the dimensions of my journal. And I did the same thing on the bottom. Okay, so we have 6 inches there, 6 inches there, and our little pocket, we're going to use these as pockets, are about 2 and looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. Yeah, same thing on both sides. And then the bottom, what we have left is roughly 2 3/4 inches. All right. These two things will be pockets. These will be side pockets. So I'm going to trim out this section right here, right along that score line. And I'll go ahead and mark that just so you can see it better. So we're going to cut out that little section right there. I'm going to cut out this section right here and this section right here. And I am making this up as I go along, so if this turns out to be a total disaster, you'll never see this video. All right, I'm going to cut right here. So I don't know if I like that. I might get rid of those pieces. This one needs to be trimmed just a smidge more. We just want to be able to clear that fold right there. Let me check this side. Okay, and that side's good. This was already part of the hanging file folder. I don't need that, so I'm going to we're going to be covering all of this anyway. This actually is really strong paper, so you might want to keep that. use it for to cover our spine or something like that. Okay, what to do here. I think that I would rather have these pockets than these, so I think I'm gonna cut those off and maybe use them somewhere else in the journal. So I'm just gonna use my ruler and my craft knife for this. Except I better move it off of this pad. Alright, so that's our inside and our outside. So it's a perfect size for, let me just fold one of the journal pages and just see how that works. So we've got plenty of room all the way around the journal, which is great. All right. I'm going to go ahead and cover up the inside of the journal first. And I've already picked out the papers that I want to use on the inside. So I'm picking one of the more neutral papers. And I want to keep a border all the way around. So I'm just going to make a mark here. And then trim that down. So this will go here. And we'll make a mark right about there. And so that will be, whoop, I cut that way too short. Was this the piece? Yeah. Okay, so that'll be the inside. And what I'm going to do is ink all the way around the folder and all the way around our papers, and we'll go ahead and we'll get these pieces glued down. So I'll speed this part up. So before I glue those down, I'm going to go ahead and round the corners at the top, and I'm going to use the biggest setting. And then I will match the corresponding corners of the papers. Okay, so just give that a little ink. And I'll set these aside, and then I'm going to go ahead and ink all around the folder. Okay, I have inked around this. It's not dark enough to suit me, so I'm going to go switch to a different color. And I'm gonna try the scorched timber and see how. Let's try it on this scrap first and see how it looks. Yeah, I think I like that better. So we're going to put the vintage photo aside and maybe keep that for the papers, and then use this for the file folder. I'm going to go ahead and glue these papers down. I am. Okay, on these pockets, I'm going to do, let's see, a small corner rounder. Okay. Let's see if we can find some little birds to go on the pockets. So I think we'll put him on this pocket. Just to make sure his little head gets on the pocket. So the pocket is right there. There's him. So I think we can get almost all of him on there. So I'm going to trim this off right here. So then I'm going to fold this back. So we're going to cut right here. And then cut again about right there. Okay. Okay, he looks really cute there. Now let's figure out what to do with this pocket over here. Now what we can do is maybe put an additional pocket here on the back side. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is another idea you can do, is to slide the bottom of this down in there and leave the bottom open. And you can have, it would look something like this. And then you could put taller pockets in there and they would go all the way to the bottom. I kind of like that, so I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this aside for now because I don't want to attach anything down until I've done the front. But this is the plan, is to slide the bottom of this just inside this lower pocket. And we'll have a pocket here and a pocket there. But I will have to sew around this one separately. Okay, so I'll put that aside, and now let's go to the front. And I printed a couple. I picked this out for the front cover, but because we need more than half of the paper, I printed out 2. And the plan is to use this bird over here for the front. Or do I like this one better? I like this bird, but I like this gold too, so I think we're going to go with him. All right, so that's our front and back cover. And I'll go ahead and glue these down. And then we'll go to the sewing machine. And the plan is to sew around each of these panels individually and hope I catch the inside as well. I'm going to sew around all these pockets, sew around this so we can get it attached. And then we'll come back and see what it all looks like. Okay, I finished sewing around this little pocket. That's what it looks like on the outside edge. And back. That's the inside. Okay, so now we can glue all these little parts down. I'll start with this one since it's got to go inside there. And we'll just glue down these 2 sides. Well, before I do that, there's one thing. You don't have to do it, but just run your bone folder over the back side of your stitches. So I sewed this from the front, so you get these little dimples on the back, and just run your bone folder across it and it'll mush all that down. Okay, let's figure out the placement of this. There, that looks straight. Make sure you don't get it over top of that fold line there. This is kind of awkward. Okay. Yep. Because we're dealing with a lot of thickness here, I am actually going to clamp these down for a few minutes until they take hold. Okay, while that's drying, I'm going to put my signature together. So we got a little bit of hanging out here. That doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, you can trim it off. Just be aware that you're going to be trimming off a little bit of your images there. All right, so I'm going to go through and ink around the edges of all these papers. And because I printed them borderless, I don't have to do any trimming around the edges. That is probably the one thing that I dislike the most about making journal is to trim off that white border. So I print borderless wherever I can. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I won't force you to watch that, and I'll be right back.